If your emails don't get sales, it's because of your copy. So, first of all, copy is everything. I write copy for this, roughly. I write bullet points and I write the copy. I write copy when I'm writing a blog, the scripts for videos, the subject lines for your emails, the title of your blogs, the things that you put on the homepage of your website, the things you put in descriptions of courses or programs or classes, all of that is copy that is either hurting or helping your sales. So if you have zero experience and you've just done it to get it done, it may be time to go back and see if you can do it 1 inch, 1 step, 1 foot better than you did it the first time. And if this is your first time, you've never really had an email list of your own, and you know it's time to start because that is the way that you'll build your business and actually be able to make sales, then you're starting on the right foot. So let's dive in here. And before we do, just a heads up that, like this entire July 2020 streak of 30 days in a row of the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, it's brought to you by the Flipping 50 Fitness Specialist. It's the first and the only training providing continuing education credits and giving you the method, the systems that I've used for over 8 years now to help over 150,000 women, and that number is climbing, by the way, get the energy and vitality they want. And doing it by science-driven, data-driven, proven programs that get predictable results. So you too can go do the research. You can go to PubMed. You can dig it all up, or you can use it and use what's proven and been tweaked for 8 years to get consistent, repeatable results. So the Flipping 50 Specialist, I'll put the link to it in the show notes. It'll be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/programs. And right now is the perfect time to get started. That population is looking for and knows they have a problem they're actively seeking a solution to. And that is never going to go away. 6,000 more women every day enter menopause. Okay, let's dive in. Your emails are important. Your copy is important. And that's where we're starting. So if your emails are not getting sales for you, you need to get better at being a copywriter. So it certainly may be your subject line or your content inside of the email, or it may be both. But first, of course, they have to open your email. So let's start with the best subject lines and talk a little bit about that. But then everything I'm about to say applies to how you would go about writing your subject lines. You can Google the best subject lines of all time, and you can get a bullet point list of some of those that get opened, as long as they're not overused with the highest open rates. But that's not the best way to get your customers to open, not on a regular basis. The best way is to know them. Then you can learn to write copy that converts. Now, you can't copy someone else's copy. Wow, that's a lot of use of the word copy, but you can learn from it. And the reason you can't copy someone else's copy and have a great deal of success is they don't have exactly the same market as you, even though it may be similar. They don't have the exact same system or method as you, and they aren't you. So if you're looking for a specific ideal customer that you love working with, it's not necessarily the same that they love working with. And you want to make sure that customer is going to enjoy working with you and your style. So you can't be selling yourself as something you're not. And that's the reason. Using somebody else's copy as a starting point to understand how they're doing it and the structure of doing it, that may work for you. But actually using their copy won't. What's the difference between copywriting and copy that sells? Because it's really important for us to make this distinction. So I know somebody who actually was paying someone who was a writer, who had a background in writing and literature and even science writing, to do their emails and their blogs and podcasts and that kind of content copy. And they weren't selling anything more. It just took it off the plate of the person who potentially would have done a better job. So that you can understand why your emails don't get sales and flip the switch, you have to understand the difference between writing copy and writing copy that sells. So copy is sometimes clever, right? It's interesting, it's creative, and so carefully grammar and punctuation checked that it misses the connection. There's no relationship. You're neither. You have to remember this. You're neither writing for your college literature professor or for an article in Science Digest. You're writing to get someone to take the next step. You're having a conversation with the reader. You're not thinking about what, or if you're not thinking about what they're currently thinking and feeling, you're never going to connect with them. If you're not thinking about the logical next step and what that is for them, you haven't come up with a call to action, a CTA that makes sense for what you want them to do next. So let's dive into this. Because the answer, right, of course, is okay, tell me, how can I write good copy? The kind that gets sales, not the kind that makes you comfortable or is grammatically correct, not the kind that tells your reader how smart you are or how much they don't know and need you for. Because that dance is tricky. In some way, on some level, we do need to know, they might have done it wrong and there might be a different way to do it, and that your way is the way. But if you offend someone or you convince them that what they're doing is so wrong that you can't, or you fail to make an emotional connection, what you end up doing is kind of being judgmental and condescending. You won't inspire them to keep reading. So it may be true, but you've got to take their side. Nothing bonds like a common enemy. Okay, and we're in the perfect moment to describe that, right? So you have to play it that, they haven't failed, but the system failed them. Like COVID-19 has bonded a lot of people around the world. We all want this over. No one likes wearing a mask, no matter how they feel about them. But what can you have in common with your audience members? Not, know better than them. That's not the goal, to show them that you're the expert and make you kind of appear on a pedestal. It's how can you be like them? How can they see themselves in you? And there's another episode that I posted about know, like, and trust that might be of interest to you. But the two of you need to have a common enemy, not you be the almighty with all the answers. And that might be a different way of thinking and positioning yourself than you've done it before. The big reasons that emails don't get sales and what to do about it. First of all, emails don't get sales if all you ever send is, buy this, our program is open. Here is the bulletin board of what's happening this month. And when they open it, every single one of those is, this program's open for enrollment, few spots left. It's always sale, sale, sale. And it looks like a bulletin board where you have a, wanted kind of thing. You've got to send them value. If you don't send out emails at least once a week and more frequently, potentially is better, especially right now during COVID-19 when people are isolated and they are hungry for messages about health and wellness and fitness in their immune systems. They want to hear from you. And if you are missing the boat, now's the time to dial it up. But you've got to provide value for them. I mean, what's a recipe that you might share with them that has immune boosting properties in it? What's an exercise or an exercise recommendation about just the way they program and go about doing their exercise that they should be hearing right now so that they can increase or enhance their sleep, decrease their stress level, and boost their immune system, not bust it? Those kinds of added value extras with emails, condition them to open it. And by the way, in some of those emails, you don't have a call to action as opposed to or other than. Go over to the Facebook page, like this video I'm giving you right here in YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Just benign things that get them to open because you're adding value all the time. And then they'll be conditioned to open again when you're having a sale. Okay, emails also don't get sales if they just include a flyer, a post of your programs. I mean, if that's all you're doing, it kind of goes back to the first thing I mentioned. You're just promotion, promotion, promotion. There's no value there. It's just here, we'll give you value once you buy a program, but we're really not going to share anything that we know that can help you until you do. Emails don't get sales if they forget to ask. I know a lot of personal trainers are afraid to ask for the sale. Even when they do, all of these emails that put their program in it, they don't actually at the bottom of the email say, register right now. Doors close in 3 days. So adding urgency to it. This isn't open forever. One more week, one more day, last day. And you've probably got to get out of your comfort level and send emails more frequently than you feel like is appropriate. If you feel like you're saying, oh, I don't want to send any more emails because people will quit, well, you're going to have to risk that. People quit every time you send them an email or unsubscribe every time you send an email. And if they're not, you're not sending often enough. And they're probably not even seeing or opening those emails anyway. Otherwise, they would ask to unsubscribe. There are always going to be those people who are not action takers. They're going to sit on your list forever and ever. And if you're never offering value, they are going to unsubscribe at a greater frequency. But if between your sales and promotions, you're giving them value, they will stick around. And some of the people on your list have to be there for 18 months to 2 years before they'll ever buy. They're slower decision makers. And last but not least, emails don't get sales if there's no relevant emotional story. Again, if you're just asking for the sale and you're just saying, here, this is why it's so great, and this is what you get. You're talking all about the features. Like, you get this, you get it online right now. You don't have to wear a mask. That's not enough. It's somewhat of a perk right now, but it's not enough. Tell an emotional story. Tell a story about someone who's now exercising at home and how very important it is to them. Maybe because they've got a disease, they've got cancer, they need to exercise, but they absolutely can't come into your fitness center right now or can't meet with you in person because it's just too risky. Tell their story, tell how grateful they are, tell it in their words, but only if it's true. You've got to have some emotional stories. We all do. Dig them out. Make sure that you're representing yourself in such a way that somebody reading it can say, oh my gosh, that's so me. Or even if, say, you're appealing to men and you want to reach out to men and you're training men and you're telling a story about a woman, as long as it's emotional enough for them to know who you are, what makes you tick. And if it's something emotional about the value you offer other people, you're not just telling the story and making them relate to other customers that you've helped, but you're also helping them relate to you. If there's no emotion in your email, you got to get it in there. So here's what I encourage you to do, because the last thing I want is for you to listen to this, just listen to this, even while you're walking, and get inspired about digging into your emails and writing them better. But I really want you to take action. So what if you did this? Take an hour. If you can't do an hour, take a half an hour every day this next week and write. And don't worry about the emails that you have to send right now. Right now, just write, because this homework is going to help you in the future write your emails better. And you'll be able to come back to this file wherever you keep it and take bits and pieces of it to insert. Write in a whole new way. And even if you're open rate is right now, it's far above your industry average. Okay, great. If it is, so let's take a look at what else you could do to improve it. Let's make it better. And maybe your click rate is higher than the industry standard too. And there are ways you can go look that up, but the average is probably between 15 and 20%, maybe even slightly less than that. But during COVID-19, I think it's skewed. It's greater, at least if you're offering value. And the click through rate is, it's like 2%. So it's not high, but hey, that's the standard. And all you want to do really is look at what is your open rate? What is your click through rate? And work on getting it up every single week. You always want to strive for better than you're at right now. Why doesn't your ideal customer start? These are things you're going to write about. What do they say? Come up with 4 or 5 different reasons. And I know there are always those standards, right? The objections. We all know we have to overcome, like time and money, and I have to ask somebody, and I don't know if it'll work for me. Those are the top 4, right? And yet there's probably something more, and there's a unique way that your customer says it in the words that they use. Write those down. It'll come up because you've talked to that many people, right? Take every one of those statements that you write down and then write what the customer is probably thinking and feeling. So you're going to dive a little deeper into it. So if that's their objection, what are they thinking and feeling? For instance, if somebody says, I honestly am so busy, I don't have time. So what are they thinking? They're probably thinking it takes a lot of time. So write that down, because we're going to do something with that in a little bit, right? You'll be able to write how you can overcome that, right? And convincing them that no, it doesn't take that much time. Here's how you can do it. Here's how our program can help you do it. So write down what they're thinking and what they're feeling. Like they're stuck. Like they're never going to be able to do this because they're way too busy. They don't have time to do the exercise that they need to do to get the results they want. That's how they're feeling, stuck and frustrated. Write down also, what are they currently doing? So it may be nothing. It may be that they're trying to do random YouTube videos. Maybe they're just walking, but write that down. What are they currently doing? Write what you would like them to be thinking and feeling. And each of these is like a page. So take your time. Don't try to get through these. Take a week. Remember, you're going to write a little bit every day. Write what you'd like them to be thinking and feeling, and then write the step you'd like them to do. And that might be doing your program, working with you one-on-one. When you can take someone from being pre-aware, in this pre-aware stage, pre-aware there is a problem, to awareness there's a problem, to awareness that there's a solution to this problem, and that you have a solution, and then that your solution is the only solution for them. You are the one that they want. That's like the customer journey. That is the role of good copy. Somebody that's your ideal customer is at some point on that continuum. They're pre-aware, no clue, right? That's the group of people that if you go back to stages of change, you learned it, right? In health, Prochaska's stages of change, pre-contemplation, they're not even thinking about it because they don't know they have a problem. Contemplation, they're aware there's a problem and there might be an answer. They're kind of thinking, right? So similarly, copy is like this. You want to know exactly who you're writing for when you write copy. You can't write for all of those stages, right? At the same time, the same words would not appeal to them. So right now, you may want to be taking the low-hanging fruit. People that are aware that there's a problem and that there is a solution, but maybe didn't even know you had a course, a class, a program that is the solution they need. So think about specifically who you're writing for before you start putting that pen on paper. Are they aware that they have a problem? Are they aware that what they're doing is not working? So are they pre-aware? Instead, you really have to identify them. If you haven't really sat down and thought about first what stage the customer you're writing a love letter to is in, how could you really write anything that will help them? This is a game changer. You'll go from finding your emails don't get sales to a significant change in your email conversions. And you'll feel better about the messages that you're sending. You will really be connecting. And it feels like literally you're writing an email to one person, to a good friend. Here's where they are. Here's what they need to know. And here's how you can help them think and feel the things you want them to think and feel. Marketing, after all, when it's done really well, it's a conversation. It's not sleazy, salesy, or pushy. It's just what it takes to relate to somebody and let them know they can relate to you and you're the answer. Okay, what are you waiting for? I would love for you to take one more step with me. So if you're not already in the private Facebook group, I have a private or I have a public Facebook page for fitness marketing management. So Fitness Marketing Biz, B-I-Z, is the page. And from there, I will link in the show notes to the private group. And inside of that private group, I'm going to have a conversation about copywriting for those of you that really want some support and some help getting to the next level. And maybe that's out from underneath debt right now because COVID-19 potentially hasn't been nice to all of us. Or if you're starting from scratch, you're pivoting, you're no longer going to work for somebody and you want to go out on your own right now, before you think you're ready, is the time. You're ready. I'll leave the link to that private group in the show notes. And I will also leave the link to the Flipping 50 fitness specialist in the show notes. What are you waiting for? The world really has never needed you and your help more than they need it today.